again. I fixed the screen in the other video. I didn't know how to make the screen. It broke, and I fixed it again. Okay, guys. Have another video. Okay, this video is like a reaction. Yes. Let's go. Okay, guys, just me a video to want to watch or something. I'm gonna watch real life lore. That I am gonna watch videos that I didn't watch. Okay, only short videos. Maybe this one. Terrifying scales of megalodons.
This video is made possible by CuriosityStream. Watch unlimited documentaries for free for a month by signing up at the link in the description. Here's a fun fact. Despite sharks looking like the literal embodiment of a sea monster in the presence of billions of them out there in oceans across the world, only around 80 unprovoked shark attacks on humans are reported worldwide each year. In 2016, only 4 people in the world died from shark attacks, while at the same time, the humble vending machine injured 1,730 people and killed 4 of them in the United States alone. Statistically, a vending machine is much more life-threatening to you than a shark is, but sharks didn't always used to be this underpowered.
A shark teeth, a scary thing, is not deadly than a soda machine.
The great white is probably the most menacing shark that's still around out there.
Yeah.
They can grow up to a frightening 6.1 meters long and weigh up to 1,900 kilograms, much longer and heavier than a Toyota Corolla, while their teeth in their jaws can grow to just under 8 centimeters long, which helps to give the great white the most powerful bite in the animal kingdom, capable of applying a force of 18,216 newtons, while the most powerful human bite measured is only 1,317 newtons. Great whites rarely attack humans, but when they do, it pans out a bit like this. Imagine that you're helpless in the water and you see
I live in the Philippines.
Only 1,317 newtons. Great whites rarely attack humans, but when they do, it pans out a bit like this.
Philippines. If you guys don't see it, okay. This is the Philippines, guys. Look, Philippines. Sorry, guys. Philippines. Okay.
Imagine that you're helpless in the water and you see a great white. They'll generally circle around you before bumping into you and biting to see what you are. Thrashing or panicking is the worst thing that you could do in this scenario because that could lead the shark into mistaking you for prey, and they'll continue attacking and eating you. As fearsome as the great white is, however, it's basically an extremely nerfed version of its close relative that existed over 2 million years ago in the same oceans, the megalodon. Megalodon probably looked very similar to the great white, only it was a lot spookier because it grew to be more like 18 meters long and could weigh up to 59 tons. Here is an average American male placed side by side so that you can see how quickly you would die if you ever met one. For reference, I'll also put down a Toyota Corolla, an African elephant, a T-Rex, a school bus, a sperm whale, and a 4-story building, all of which are smaller than a megalodon. At 54 tons in weight, not
4-story building is like the same size as the megalodon.
Even an M1 Abrams main battle tank is as heavy as this Godzilla shark. But that's not the only reason why Megalodon was so terrifying. The blue whale, for example, is a lot bigger and it's still around today, but it's not nearly as scary. Megalodon has something that the blue whale doesn't though. Big teeth and huge jaws. Take your hand out and look at it. The average length of an American male's hand from the tip of the middle finger down to the base of the wrist is 18.9 centimeters. The length of some megalodon teeth that have been discovered were 18.4 centimeters long. So imagine a dagger as long as that cutting into you. But then you need to realize that Megalodon had over 250 of those dagger-sized teeth, and they were located across 5 separate rows inside of their jaws which could open to be over 2 meters across, large enough to swallow Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson whole in one bite. The bite force of these gargantuan jaws has been estimated to be around 180,000 newtons, which is enough to actually crush a Toyota Corolla.
This is my brother's phone. I really miss you too. My little brother. My little brother. His phone. I know his password. Okay.
Tatay muna.
Nalagyan to his phone.
Sana. Ah, mas.
Okay, back to recording.
But inside of them, if you were unlucky enough to somehow end up in that situation, a scuba diver unprotected would experience a nightmare, a storm of dagger teeth inside of jaws that would swallow you whole in one
It's already
bite.
5 minutes.
And you wouldn't really be able to swim away from it either, because despite weighing more than a tank, the megalodon could probably swim up to 11 miles per hour,
Wow, that's
faster
fast.
than even Michael Phelps's top swimming speed of 6 miles per hour.
That's very
Fossils
fast.
of megalodon have been discovered in oceans and beaches all across the world, so it
All
likely
over
had
the
a pretty
world?
similar range as the great white does today, which means that basically nobody would be safe watching this video if it was still around, except for the British apparently, whose food is so terrible that not even sharks will bother with it. Megalodon existed as recently as 2.6 million years ago, and despite what countless clickbait videos on YouTube will have you believe, no, it definitely doesn't still exist today, no matter what they say. But she wasn't the only monster lurking in the seas over 2.5 million years ago. Another beast, at least as terrifying as the shark of sharks, also haunted the ocean then, and its name was Leviathan, a monstrous sperm whale just slightly smaller in size than Megalodon, but with an even more ferocious jawline. Leviathan had teeth measuring over 36 centimeters long, exactly twice as long as the teeth of Megalodon and the largest teeth of any creature ever recorded. For millions of years, Megalodon and Leviathan were the apex predators of the ocean, and possibly the largest predators to ever exist. And they existed at the same time. They were probably fierce rivals, and it's interesting to imagine if any ancient battles took place between them. The ocean is a scary place to be today, but it used to be a whole lot worse. If you're like me, then you've probably always been excited about and interested in dinosaurs and other extinct monsters like Megalodon since you were a kid. But you don't need to go to a museum to learn more about them right now. All you need is your phone or your computer and head over to CuriosityStream with documentaries I love, like the first 2 seasons of Ancient Earth that include phenomenal 50-minute long episodes about giant insects, feathered dinosaurs, and the dawn of mammals.
That's the finish of the video. Okay, that is the curiosity stream. Okay, guys, that's for today. Goodbye.